would you suggest that would be the appropriate hedging instrument rather than some sort of exotic option product? For hedging, that is.
Well, I don't know. I mean, appropriate. I mean, again, yeah. I mean, it's a highly yeah. I mean, I would say yes. I in my experience, yes.
And just on that, then, what about costless collars, etc., and those sorts of products? What's your view on them in terms of being a hedging instrument, etc.?
I mean, I have very little experience, so I mean, people obviously use all sorts of derivatives, right? So, but from my perspective, I mean, I guess I would ask kind of the why question there. I mean, I think you have a pretty liquid currency forward market, so.
Why, and then there's such exotic products. You made a very valid point earlier on about saying how about that. They develop these products, and that's true. These costless collars, they develop these products in the back office, which are normally a combination of options or a call option, a put option, this sort of stuff. Where the object is that you buy one, you sell the other, and you cover your costs, which of course is nonsense because there's a whole range of other things involved with spreads, etc. And then if you hit a particular cap, then you're exposed to getting all these sorts of things. Do you understand? Have you had much understanding of how much those things actually cost in reality, as opposed to just a straightforward type product?
I certainly couldn't give you an answer to that offhand. That's like information I certainly could go out and get. Obviously the more tailored derivative you've got, and my mind is kind of moving away from. So when I did anything that was more complex in terms of derivatives, it didn't really have to do with currency, unfortunately. It had more to do with it was more related to other derivatives. So I mean, I think, and when we would go, and I'm trying to think of a specific example right now, but like pricing for exotic derivatives can get really all over the place. To the point where I'm not sure what necessarily would cost on the bank side, but just thinking offhand, I mean, you would get pricing just all over the place from banks when it came to exotic options. Here's a good one. So we would buy like interest rate derivatives. And so, you could hedge us out through an options contract. And I think we were looking at doing something funky. It may have been a collar of some kind, over sort of like an unusual period of time. And it was fairly long dated. And I remember kind of going out to banks and then asking them to price this out. And I mean, there was kind of like, there were guys who were like 4x what the bank that I think we eventually ended up using B of A to do the deal, but it was, like Deutsche or somebody was like 4 times the price. So it was like, that's where, again, you're trying to, I think from our perspective, when you're trying to do something like manage balance sheet risk, or you're just hedging a stream of expenses or something like that. You're kind of trying to go to something that's liquid and can just fit your needs. So unless you have a very specific situation you're trying to avoid, like I think we were essentially betting against interest rate stability at the time, and so we're kind of trying to we had sort of this thesis, like